The story behind League of Legends Episode 9. Zaun, the City of Iron and Glass. Zaun is a large, undercity district, lying in the deep canyons and valleys threading Piltover. What light reaches below is filtered through fumes leaking from the tangles of corroded pipework, and reflected from the stained glass of its industrial architecture. Zaun and Piltover were once united, but are now separate, yet symbiotic societies. Though it exists in perpetual smog twilight, Zaun thrives, its people vibrant and its culture rich. Piltover's wealth has allowed Zaun to develop in tandem, a dark mirror of the city above. Many of the goods coming to Piltover find their way into Zaun's black markets, and hextech inventors who find the restrictions placed upon them in the city above too restrictive often find their dangerous researches welcomed in Zaun. Unfettered development of volatile technologies and reckless industry has rendered whole swaths of Zaun polluted and dangerous. Streams of toxic runoff stagnate in the city's lower reaches, but even here people find a way to exist and prosper. Zaun, also known as the City of Iron and Glass, it is a place both supported and ruined by unchecked industry, mercantilism, and magic run amok. The pollution from the countless factories and laboratories is constantly spewed into the environment. The urban heart of the city-state is often choked with smog that blocks the morning sun and drains the sky of its pastels. Visitors have called the sky the Zaun Gray, and described staring up at it akin to seeing the beginnings of a cosmic disturbance. As polluted as Zaun is above ground, its subterranean levels are far worse. All of Zaun's runoff waste pools together in its sewers, mixing together into toxic and mysterious concoctions. Locations. Zaun is a city within Piltover located between northern and southern parts of Valoran. The current well-known locations, not counting Piltover, encompassing Zaun are the Bridgewalds. Zaunites and Piltovans alike flock to the Bridgewalds market for a taste of everything that makes the Undercity great. The best in music, food, and artisanal Kentech creations can be found here every night. College of Techmeturgy. The Great Tower of the College of Techmeturgy rises arrogantly from the wide canyon separating North and South Piltover, anchored to the upper cliffs by swaying suspension bridges and thick iron cables that thrum like musical strings when the winds blow in hard from the ocean. It's the city's best-known institution of learning and prime location for techmeturgical research for the new and unexperienced. It also has cultural ties with Noxian's Leak Academy. Priggs Industries. Priggs Industries is large industrial complex of Dr. Briggs. It houses a large amount of warehouses and factories. It was later revealed that the complex housed underground holding facilities and slave labor camps which has since ruined the reputation of the industry. Graves was one of the prisoners that escaped from one of the industry's tightly controlled prisons known as the Locker. Sump Works, and Sector 90TZ located in it, are one of many locations in Zaun. It is here where Twitch was spotted after his mutational transformation. The Cliff. The most important location of all of Zaun, it was once the epicenter of a massive man-made geological disaster that sunk most of the city. Currently, it is the location of massive spires jutting upwards towards Piltover as the arrogant testimony of Zaun's resolve to survive. One such building is the College of Techmeturgy. The slums. The slums of Zaun are one of the most densely populated and polluted locations in Valoran. Large pipes flowing with industrial waste are placed around its buildings. Many of its residents are main source of labor for Zaun's factories. The Memorial Wall is a place where residents of the slums give homage to those they had lost. Victor's Laboratory. The main research location of Victor, the city's infamous robotics and cybernetics inventor. It has recently been raided by Piltover's Jace after Victor stole a Bracken crystal from him and used it for his experiments. Zaun Sewers. Zaun sewers are where all the city's toxic waste ends up and is tossed into the sea. Many creatures, such as rats, live in this underground area, some of which had mutated from the toxic waste, such as Twitch. Zaun's asylum for the irreparably troubled. The asylum of Zaun Dr.Mundo was left to when he was very young. It ceased to operate anymore due to Dr.Mundo curing everyone in there in his own way, in which they were murdered. Culture. While known to be a notoriously self-centered people by other nations, the denizens of Zaun collectively take great pride in themselves and their city. To them, their right to do as they please is what makes Zaun a free city-state on Runeterra. As a result, the streets of Zaun are a constant hive of activity. Shopkeepers with a variety of eccentric items can be found at every corner of the city, with the dark and seedy alleys overflowing with ambitious individuals willing to give their all for a profit. It's also said that corporate rivalry is the very spirit of competition that defines Zaun as a city-state. Nevertheless, both espionage and sabotage are considered common practices when doing business with Zaunites. The Grey Lady. The Church of the Glorious evolved is celebrated in both Piltover and Zaun. The Glorious Evolution, a possible subgroup led by Victor, views of flesh as inferior to that of steel and metal, has gathered most of the followers among the people of Zaun and has spread among other nations. An amalgamation of flesh or the total replacement of it had marked his works, incorporating techmaturgy to purge the weakness and inefficiency of the flesh. For as long as they exist, the day of the world replaced by beings of weaponized steel and metal becomes clearer with each passing day. Non-augmented individuals are forbidden to step foot onto their sacred grounds, but the Glorious evolved often took in the sick, seeing the removal of dying flesh as a key to transforming a person's life and faith through technology. The Grey Lady is the patron saint of this religion. Her stained glass window is the main focal point of the first assemblage of the Glorious evolved, where the Grey Lady's cloak is a mosaic of ash-violet glass, oxidized cogs, and blackened pistons. Her epithet was often invoked when an inventor felt at a loss due to inability or failure. Hers was a blessing that often required sacrifice. The Glorious evolved celebrated the old Zaunite tradition of sacrificing something personal for Progress Day in the hopes the next iteration of invention would be better. It was a practice that could be traced back to the old days of the city, when the people of Zaun had to face rebuilding their lives after the devastation of the incident. The wealth and growth of Piltover on top of those scarred ruins served as evidence to many that the tradition had merit. Festivals. Festival of Flight. The Festival of Flight is an annual festival between Piltover and Zaun. The main focus of this event is to showcase each city's technological supremacy, through peaceful means like the Zeppelins races have been occurring officially for at least 16 years. Progress Day. Progress Day is an annual festival of Piltover and Zaun respectively. The main focus of this event is the celebration of the city's technological progress. On this day, many awards and promotions are given to the brightest minds from all across Runeterra, who are willing to contribute to the advancement of the city, as well as the showcase of new innovations all across the city. Progress Day is viewed very differently down in Zaun, which was known as the original City of Progress before Piltover came along. Above, Progress Day marks the moment the Sun Gates opened for the first time, allowing trade to pass easily between the east and west of Valoran. It also marks the moment when taxation on that trade turned the trickle of gold entering the city's coffers into a fast-flowing river. Below in Zaun, it is a day to remember those lost in the geological upheaval that created the east-west passage and submerged entire districts underwater. Government. Zaun's powerful Chem Barons keep a loose alliance that prevents the city from descending into chaos. This has allowed their researchers and inventors the leeway to push the bounds of their experiments at an accelerated rate, for better or worse. Some say the city-state is run more like a corporate business with no restraints rather than a society of law and order. Relations. Noxus. The city shares a friendly relationship with the nation of Noxus. It assists Dr. Mundo, the madman of Zaun, in his ambition to create the perfect science-enhanced killer. They have provided the doctor a laboratory within their capital city, and have given him free rein to pursue his life's work in his spare time. Alchemists from Zaun were also recruited by Noxus during their invasion of Ionia, the most heinous of them being Singed, the Mad Chemist. The brand of mass death and destruction the madman unleashed remains a festering scar on Ionian history. When the necromantic reanimation of Ergot, the headman's pride, proved problematic for Noxus due to his lifetime of injuries, a prevailing scholar of Zaun named Professor Stanwyck repeatedly provided the solution by forging a new body for the headsman. Piltover. As the two leading city-states in the development of Hextech, Zaun and Piltover have a deep competitive rivalry, both vying to be the ones directing the future of techmaturgy on Runeterra. There are frequent smuggling campaigns orchestrated by Zaunite thieves. Valuable technologies are then later sold on black markets all across Runeterra. Zaun and Piltover are bitter rivals, yet symbiotic societies. Both city-states push one another in innovation, however, they are both ideological counter-opposites. They also share deep historical, social, and cultural connections, having Piltover, literally and figuratively, rise from the foundations at the expense of Zaun. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to share video and subscribe us channel.